5 of the 8 teams that came to Denver with national championship aspirations have seen their seasons come to a close. One team knows it will play for a national championship. That's the Hillcats from Rogers State. Will they play the Toros from the West Coast, Cal State Dominguez Hills, or the North Georgia Nighthawks, the only team back in the field here in 2022? Let's find out. It's a day where we could have 1 or 2 games based on how the first game goes between these two teams. If you're joining us for the first time all week, certainly glad to have you on board alongside Leah Secondo and Brendan Gulick. It is drizzling here at the beginning of this game. This is game 12 of the tournament. We did have a 2-hour and 23-minute rain delay in our first game of the day, and we only had a 2-hour and 7-minute game, so it was a longer delay than we had actual game played. We are not expected to have necessarily heavy storms during this game, but Leah, it could rain for maybe on and off parts of about an hour's worth of time here. So these two teams are going to have to be extra careful on this all-turf surface to be really slick in the field and make sure they handle themselves properly.
If there's any surface around the country that can handle the water and handle the intangible of the elements, it's certainly this stadium at Metropolitan State University. I think that, the biggest thing for these two teams, I just don't want to see the rain or the intangibles at all play into a factor of our result this afternoon, and they're going to do everything they possibly can to make sure it's safe.
Delaney Heberlin, the starting pitcher for North Georgia for the 3rd consecutive time this week, and she gets Amara Labanog to record out number 1 here in the first inning. Let's tell you how these teams got here. We'll start with Cal State Dominguez Hills after they had, maybe one of the more impressive wins of the tournament in the very first game we played on Thursday, a 5-1 win over Texas Tyler. They went into the winner's bracket after beating the number 1 team in the country, but unfortunately they didn't have quite the same luck the second time out. Rogers State handled them pretty well, 10-2 the final score in that game on Friday morning. And so the Toros went into the loser's bracket where they needed to win a game yesterday. It was an elimination game against Seton Hill, the Griffins, and they outlasted Seton Hill by a score of 9-6. And it wasn't looking good for a bit there. Seton Hill took a 6-3 lead in the 4th inning, but 6 unanswered runs in the 5th and 6th innings from the Toros lifted them to victory, including a 3-run double from Shanoa Au, and Claudia Valencia had an RBI single as well. Alex Davis played pretty well, so did Caitlin Sturm. So that's how the Toros got here. On the other side, North Georgia, their road was, maybe the slightly easier one because they've only played 2 games so far this week, and they've come away with a couple of victories. 8-2, they beat up on the Panthers from Adelphi in the opening game on Thursday. North Georgia was really good in that game. Madison Simmons, J.C. Michael hit a 3-run homer, Hannah Forehand a solo home run. This team got it done all the way around as Kiana Abalera grounds out to second base. And there are 2 outs here in the top of the first. So North Georgia also went into the winner's bracket, and they posted the first and so far only run-ruled game of the weekend. North Georgia 8, Auburn Montgomery nothing. They beat them 8-0 in 5 innings despite a 42-minute lightning delay on Friday. The Nighthawks were really good offensively with a 6-run third, and they are rocking and rolling as they get ready here for this opportunity now where they only need to win once, where the Toros would have to win twice in order to clinch a berth in the best-of-3 series.
Solid defensive play by Forehand on that last bouncing ball towards her.
Long, deep fly ball to left field, and it's off the fence. Raquel Jaime, one of the hottest hitters in the tournament. It's a 2-out double for the Toros in the first inning.
Oh, the fun of the wind here in this second game of the day. And that was actually a great spot in the zone for Jaime to go down and get it. Hit about midway through to the fence. Good hustle to stand up into second base.
It brings to the plate Claudia Valencia. So far through the tournament, Cal State Dominguez Hills has been the top offensive team They entered this game with 35 hits in 89 at-bats over their first 3 games. That's a team average of 393. I know they lost a game, but they've scored 16 runs over those 3 games. And in their 2 wins, they were really good offensively. That's their 8th double, along with a home run this week, so they've hit for extra bases as well. Don't strike out a lot. They've proven to be a tough out. North Georgia is also very good offensively this week, and the Nighthawks are the number 1 pitching staff in the tournament so far. They have given up just 1 earned run in 12 innings so far.
That ball just cut right back inside, nearly hit Valencia. Good job by Blair to hold it and show just how much it painted the corner.
Valencia is having a nice tournament, 5 for 10. Wow, that ball never even got close to home plate. They'll throw to third, but that's a wild pitch that allows Jaime to advance. So with 2 outs, a runner at third base for the Toros as they try to strike first. And on a day where they need to win twice. By the way, Jaime, 7 hits now in the tournament. That is second behind Rogers State's Kimberly Presnell, who has 8. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Heberlin gets out of the inning without giving up a run, despite the fact the Toros got to third base. So North Georgia will come to bat when we come back. I'm going to keep it here for just a moment and kind of show you the bracket, give you an idea of how things have played out the last couple of days. I know we mentioned the paths for these 2 teams individually, but there have been a few other games along the way too. Let's take a look at the bracket for this particular part. We start on the bottom because of this game. You see North Georgia's couple of wins. Cal State Dominguez Hills started on the top of the bracket and then worked their way down to the bottom here with that 9-6 win over Seton Hill. And then on the flip side, Rogers State, because they beat Texas Tyler in the first game of the day, there was no if necessary game. So Rogers State is on to the best of 3 starting tomorrow. Didn't have a chance to tell you much about Delaney Heberlin, the starting pitcher for the Nighthawks. We'll do that when she comes back out in the second inning. But as the Toros come out here defensively for the first time, Leah, all eyes are in the center circle on Alyssa Olagi, who has very high ability, but we just haven't seen a whole lot of it yet this week.
No, and I think actually in the win that they had against Seton Hill 9-6 to get to this game, Ologi struggled when she came back in and, wasn't completely 100%. Won't have that luxury this afternoon against North Georgia. She will have to be on top of her game from the start. It'll be interesting to see how long the leash goes today for Alyssa.
Lala, as they call her. First pitch of the day is in there, a called strike to Jolie Lester. Olagi comes into this game needing 5 strikeouts to tie her pitching coach, Stephanie Guerra, formerly Stephanie Jimenez. Stephanie has the single-season record with 232. Lester grounds one to Shinoa Au, the second baseman, and there's 1 out. Valencia, Abalera, and Davis in the outfield. Labanog, Jaime, Au, and Hull around the diamond. Maya Lopez catching again here this afternoon. Here's Olivia Sinkfield. Sinkfield 3 for 6 so far in the tournament. She does have 1 run batted in. North Georgia's offense has been really good. 21 hits, 57 at-bats. That's a .368 average as they've started this national championship chase. But a couple of quick groundouts, and Olagi is settling in here early.
Well, it certainly helps when this is something that North Georgia has done. They go after the first pitch and staying true to where they've been. So helping out Alagi a little bit, giving her, I think, a little bit of confidence here with those 2 up, 2 down, 2 pitches.
Maddie Simmons, the batter. First pitch is outside. Chelsea Clark has the balls and strikes. Mario Calabrese umpiring at first. Trina Comerford, the third base umpire this afternoon. That's on the corner. I guess not. Wow, looked like a good pitch. 2-1. I beg your pardon. 2-0. Simmons 3 for 6 this week too. There's a lot of young ladies in this North Georgia order that have multi-hits so far. Mixon, Sinkfield, Simmons, Perry, and Parker all come into this game with 3 hits in their first 6 at-bats. J.C. Michael 3 for 7. And among the group I just mentioned, they've got 3 doubles, a triple, and 2 homers. Simmons dropped the bat, picked it back up.
Simmons a little bit different grip on that bat. You notice that her top hand, her thumb actually is straight up. You don't always see that. Majority of the time, high percent of the time, you'll see the hitters wrap that thumb around.
That had to hurt. Count goes full. Hopefully Madison's okay. Never fun when you swing and miss at a pitch that hits you. See if we get a good look at it here. Ooh.
Took a swing. We've had this twice now in the tournament, right? It's not hit by pitch because she swung.
Well, it's off the plate, not by much, but ball 4 to Maddie Simmons. So a first inning base runner for the Nighthawks. North Georgia, the home team for this game because they won the coin flip. Has nothing to do with seeding, although these are the 7th and 8th seeded teams in the tournament. Hard chopper. Ow, can't handle it. Simmons.
That's not good. That's not good, and that's not going to make Mike Davenport happy, especially with the taking advantage of the little bit of a faux pas there at second base. Got to keep moving, especially with 2 outs, split the runners. But instead, now first and second for the Nighthawks.
All right, Hannah forehand will try to help make it just an afterthought. Hannah's only got 1 hit in the tournament so far, but we mentioned it earlier. It was a big one. Solo home run in the second game they played. This North Georgia team still has some considerable youth in the middle of the order. Simmons, Parker, forehand, Mixon, Blair, and Perry. All of them sophomores. Jolie Lester's a freshman. A couple of juniors and J.C. Michael and Olivia Sinkfield. To think that they were all here outside of Lester. They were all here last year playing as freshmen.
Yeah, this is still a youthful squad, and what a great accolade for them to be back in this championship setting. And I still think that, they're still trying to get accustomed to this level. I think they're playing fearless instead of fearful because they are so young still.
Forehand sends one to right field. Davis got turned around the wrong way, but recovered and made the catch. 2-out walk and reaching on an error. The Nighthawks had a couple on base, but they're unable to bring someone around. 1 inning in the books. We're headed to the second on NCAA.com. Top of the second inning as the Toros come back up offensively with Maya Lopez leading things off, the right-handed hitting catcher who hit her 6th home run of the season a couple of days ago. One catches the corner for a strike. We didn't really have a chance much, Leah, to talk about Delaney Heberlin yet because we were going through some of that other traffic in the first inning. She's been really impressive. She's recorded all but one out so far for North Georgia in this tournament. She hasn't been their number one pitcher this year, but she's proving that pitching depth is really key for teams that are going to make a run.
I think the big thing for Delaney is she's been just as consistent in her 2 appearances here at the National Championships as she was all season long. Has only allowed 2 hits in 11 innings pitched, much in part to the solid defense, the shortened game for the Nighthawks. But she is extremely cool in the circle. She gets that ball back, and she knows exactly where she wants to go. She hits her spots very well with Georgia Blair behind the plate.
11 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned, 6 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts for Heberlin. This one's hit pretty well out into the left center field gap, but a good job defensively. Michael got over and cut it off and saves extra bases. So Maya Lopez opens the second inning with a single. And here comes Shanoa Au.
Lopez waiting back just a little bit on that ball, and that was enough to make some pretty good contact. Shanoa Au coming off of a huge bases clearing double in the 9-6 victory over Seton Hill.
Good bunt here. They try to go the short route, and they get the lead runner. Talk about good defense. Gracie Mixon picked up the bunt quickly. Outstanding job with Perry covering the bag at second.
Lopez wasn't sure, too, whether she wanted to go in sliding or standing up. And that may have helped out just a little bit on that play, that little extra second that the defense needed.
So Au at first with 1 out for Caitlin Sturm. Sturm, the designated player today. Heberlin is pitching for the 30th time this year. This is her 24th start. 2.27 ERA. She's 15-8 and leads the team with a 1.07 walks plus hits over innings pitched. 12 complete games. Runner breaks. This is popped up in foul ground and out of play. Heberlin's been a little bit susceptible to giving up extra base hits. 20 doubles, 4 triples, and 10 homers. That's not super high, but it's the highest on the team. Opponents, though, are only hitting .215 against her this year. Big swing and miss there. Chased the high fastball. Sturm down in the count, 1-2. Tybee Denton has pitched 23 times. Jordan Warzinski's pitched 26 times. Kristen Davis, the team's number 1 pitcher, 32 appearances, 27 starts. She's 17-4. We haven't seen Davis yet as the snap throw is back too late. Haven't seen Davis yet this week. She hasn't been 100%, but she is available. From what we understand, it wouldn't be shocking to see her at some point. Now the 2-2. That's a good idea, but it's a ball. How important do you think it is for the Toros, knowing they need to win twice, to try to score first here?
Well, I think anytime that you're in a situation that they are coming out of the elimination bracket, psyche-wise, it's important. But this is a confident Toro team.
Wow. That had some vapor trail behind it as Sturm almost took Heberlin into center field with that ball. First and second, 1 out.
Rocket of a shot back through the box. Heberlin has to duck on it. Mike Davenport coming out to the circle.
So this appears to be more of a strategic talk than one on checking to see if Heberlin is okay. Certainly was hard hit, but it wasn't really threatening to hit her. In the meantime, a couple arms getting loose.
Double timing out there in the bullpen for sure. Kristen Davis on one side. Morzinski on the opposite side. Everybody bundled up. It's amazing how we've gone from 80-something degrees to just barely reaching 70 right now.
It's actually 65.
Yeah, the wind's blowing pretty good. People have gone to the local stores to get blankets and different things.
We were looking at the long-range forecast coming into the tournament. I mean, you almost sat there and thought, well, is this too good to be true? I mean, it looks perfect every day. 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike. We had a little bit of rain today. You know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. Promising news as the next couple of days look pretty good. In the meantime, the Texas Tyler Patriots are leaving the facility. I'm not sure if they are traveling home this evening or not till tomorrow morning, but the number one team in the country most of the season will not be the last team standing. No one hit fouled on the left field line. There is no real who finished third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. It's just, you know, whether or not you win or you're the runner-up by virtue of where you're seated and when you play. You might have gotten eliminated earlier in the tournament or later, but I'm sure Texas Tyler feels pretty good about the fact that they were one of the final four teams playing this year. Meantime, the Toros, who have never been to this tournament before, probably feeling pretty good about the fact they're one of the three teams that are left. And they've got to get through a North Georgia team who has become one of the preeminent powers in Division II softball. Payoff pitch is grounded. That is a fair ball. Sinkfield bobbled it at first. I'm not sure she really would have been able to turn an unconventional double play had she not bobbled the ball, but she at least gets the out. Both runners move up. Alex Davis retired.
Well, and if Sinkfield doesn't make that play at first base and it scoots by, or there's no doubt at least one run's coming across. And where it goes into that right field corner, there's a good chance that they may have pressed the envelope here early to push the second one along. So good play defensively down at first base. A lot of speed on the base paths right now.
I have a hunch that Heberlin and Blair got crossed up there. So Georgia goes out with a runner at second base. It was a called strike. I think that's why they're having this conversation. Runner at third base is Owl. Sturm hanging out at second. Toros already have 3 base hits. Trying to see if they can come up with one that brings a run across. It took a second, but the third base umpire, Trina Comerford, called foul before Chelsea Clark did behind home plate. But I thought that definitely hit her in the box. So Kaylee Hull down 0-2 in the count. You see a lot of that Roadrunners logo all over the place in this cool facility. MSU Denver, the Roadrunners, compete in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. By now, I'm sure you've heard us talk about the fact that this is the 3rd consecutive championship tournament. Division II is held here in Denver. We are heading to Chattanooga, Tennessee next year for 3 of the next 4 years, as a matter of fact. 1-2 is off the end of the bat, floated, in there, base hit. Owl scores. Sturm on her way to the plate. They cut the ball, and it would have potentially had a play at the plate. The Nighthawks make an error and allow Hull to go to second base. 2-0 Toros.
Speed on the base paths proving beneficial for the Toros. A one hopper out there and a nice throw. As you mentioned, cut off that would have definitely made things a lot closer. I knew Jared Myers at third base was going to have that arm going, and he certainly did. And the Toros now with the 2-0 jump.
Now, I don't want to make any assumptions, but one thing I did notice when North Georgia was taking its warm-ups, as part of the 30 minutes you get on the field, the coaching staff will hit fly balls or ground balls to outfielders who will practice throwing into cutoffs. And there's a catcher standing next to the coach, and they rotate through the cutoffs every time. They rotate through the outfielders as part of the warm-up drill. But the catcher was never lining up the cutoff person between her and the outfielder. And I just wonder if there is a breakdown of communication right now between North Georgia's catchers and their cutoff people, because a catcher should be yelling through, or perhaps maybe they only yell in situations where you want it cut, and if you hear nothing, you let that through. This one is hit on the left side of the infield, and they do not get the tag. Oh, boy. Darn if you do, darn if you don't. And the Toros with Labanog getting on base. Runners on the corners here with 2 outs.
And with that, that'll bring Mike Davenport back out, and the Nighthawks will make a change here with runners at first and third and 2 outs.
So North Georgia, for the first time, actually no, this is Jordan Warzinski, I beg your pardon. Her second appearance. She did get 1 out earlier in the tournament. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Warzinski, who is in a bit of a pickle here?
Well, she played her high school ball with former North Georgia great and Kat Martin at Battleground Academy, and on the season for the Nighthawks, a 2.48 ERA. This is just her 27th appearance of the season, and as you mentioned, she did pitch to 1 batter here thus far in the championship series, much in part to the quickness of games and the way that Heberlin has been pitching. So this will be her first true test against a Toros team that's pressing the envelope here early on in this game to push another run across here in the second.
5 hits over an inning and 2/3 with no walks and 1 strikeout against Heberlin. She's given up 2 and responsible for the 2 on base. This pitch misses outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Kiana Abalera, 0 for 1 with a ground out. Good hitter. In fact, this is a tough part of the order coming up now for this very good offensive team in the Toros. Hard grounder back through the middle, base hit. Abalera brings home the 3rd Toros run. Great start for Dominguez Hills.
I like the fact not sitting on the pitch. That ball was in a groove spot right up in the zone. You got to go get it. And that's exactly what they did, just moving the runners along. Now first and second, pressure is still on.
Yeah, not only that, Dominguez Hills has its best hitter and one of the best hitters in this tournament field, Rocky Jaime. Double to left field last time up. Couldn't buy a strike there. Time called. I think
Double checking the count.
Umpires want to check the count. It's 2-1. Scoreboard had said 2-0 there, but it is 2 balls and 1 strike. No, wait a second. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. They were. Oh, boy. Nobody seems to know. Somebody had 2-0, somebody had 2-1, somebody had 1-1. One ball, one strike. It's all right. More important to get it right than
That's why you got three
to
out
guess.
there. They work as a team, too.
That's right. Good velocity there, 1-2. Jaime shoots it into right field. That's down for a hit. Simmons coming up throwing. The play at the plate is in time. Labanog cut down at the plate, and immediately head coach Jim Mayer signals to the umpires that he'd like that play reviewed. Boy, that was a really close play at the plate. I thought it was good positioning by Georgia Blair and a great throw from Maddie Simmons. And they will take a look at it.
Pretty much the same scenario as far as lining up, Sinkfield taking the cut. But I don't know. I think there might have been a little bit of a delay. And Labanog may have gotten on the sweep, gotten that leg in. Ball comes in front, and she sweeps across, and I think Labanog's underneath that tag. It's going to be an interesting challenge for the committee in Pittsburgh to be looking at.
By the way, the reason the review goes to Pittsburgh, folks, is that's where DV Sport is located. They handle all of the instant replay reviews. Man, that is really close. Unfortunately, from this angle, probably too difficult to tell. But that high home angle, I thought, was our best look.
And if it's, if it's not there on any of the camera shots, they do have to stay with the call that they made. So this is actually the shot that has the best vision of it. And look how much you have to slow it down. So think about what the umpires are doing with the opportunity that they have to make that call right away in real time.
I mean, that frame by frame almost looks like a tie. It is so close, you wonder if they would have called it the other way in real time if they'd have enough evidence to overturn it. Sometimes the fact that it's called out on the field can benefit you if you are hoping it stays that way. Really close. I think it's just hard to know there with her right shoe. I mean, it looks like she's at least over the plate, but did she touch it? The fact the plate is a flat surface, I mean, you can hover over it, right? But until you touch it, it doesn't matter. Tough call. This is really close.
It's so tough. That's why it's taking the time that it is right now for the folks to slow it down as much as they possibly can to make their decision.
At the moment, the Toros are hopeful they can get this call overturned. They've already scored 3 times in the second inning. Is there enough evidence to overturn an out call and give them a 4th run and keep this inning alive with 2 runners on and 2 outs? Great throw from Madison Simmons in right field. She played that perfectly. On one hop, it came right to her. I'm just not sure if they're going to be able to overturn it. I think there's a chance they could call her safe, but that is so close. I just don't know if they're going to have enough evidence to say that for sure that right foot hit the plate. It looks like we're going to get a decision here. Runner is out. The call is upheld at home plate. So, Maddie Simmons with a big-time throw from right field. And it's only 3-0, but the Toros do have 3 on the board. Bottom of the second inning. Cal State Dominguez Hills scored 3 runs on 6 hits in the top of this frame. And were unable to scratch across a 4th after the replay review did not get overturned. But obviously, a good use of the replay review because it was such a close play. Sometimes it feels like when the call isn't overturned that you shouldn't have used it because it didn't work out in your favor. But I think the fact that it was such a long look that it was worth taking another look at.
And now that you've got that 3 spot on the board and you're in the field defensively, this is a important inning for the defense of the Toros.
J.C. Michael beats it out at first base.
Slight bobble at third base by Labanog. It'll be interesting to see if they do, in fact, count it a hit.
I'm inclined to say so. Let's see, the official score. He says no. It's an error. All right, so J.C. Michael does not have a base hit. That little bobble, just enough. Gracie Mixon.
Labanog was doing the dance coming in pretty quick there, and with the way that the ball comes off of velocity on these bats, sun's starting to come back out. Fielder's going for the shades.
Mixon watches another one outside. You're North Georgia here. I mean, you certainly didn't want to give up 3 runs early in the game, but I don't think there's any reason for them to panic quite yet. They're still playing with the upper hand.
Yeah, if we were in the 5th or the 6th, I could see this kind of rocking them a little bit, but hitting the box, I'll be dead. There's so much game left, and the confidence that this team has, I don't see it phasing them, but I think right now for the Toros, a 1-2-3 inning will just set the tone for their confidence to keep growing.
Mixon, 2-1 pitch hit out to center field, and it tails just a bit where Abalera makes the catch. 1 gone in the bottom of the second for Georgia Blair. So Blair bats with a runner at first and 1 out. Georgia hitting .325 on the season. Runner breaks. The throw is into center field. Michael has to scamper to third quickly and gets in there thanks to the throw not being on target.
Delayed dead ball signal as she was impeded getting to the bag, so she would have had the bag either way if she was out. And a good job there by Lopez, actually. You throw the ball. You throw the ball whether the fielder is there or not. You throw to the bag. So a little bit of a break here.
Meantime, while she's standing there, there are sunglasses being brought out to the outfielders. As you mentioned, it's certainly feeling like some of that bad weather is moving past us at this point. So Blair has a runner at third base here with one out. Georgia fouls it back. You know, we made comment earlier that the number 71 was just kind of random. What the heck is that? Why wearing a number 71? Well, we found out. When Georgia Blair left her previous school, she was at Virginia Tech. She wanted a fresh start in her career and said, you know what, I'm going to start with a jersey number that you just don't usually see. How about 71? Well, I think it works out in her favor, right? I mean, she's playing in the Division II College World Series. I would say mission accomplished.
You ordering the uniforms, and the uniform company is going, are you
Is this
sure
a typo?
you want a 7 and a 1?
The 0-2 pitch. Nope. Upstairs. I like the idea of blazing your own trail.
Yep.
You know, do something that you haven't seen done somewhere else before.
Mostly in you know, what you would normally think of. Great players wearing 71 are typically, right, football players.
Wild pitch. Nighthawks on the board.
Well, and keep in mind that all started with just a very, very, very slight bobble at third base as Michael got on, and look what happens. Superman slide into home, and it's a 3-1 game.
Blair on one hop back to Olagi, and now there's two outs. But to your point, how many times have we seen this week that errors have been the full-blown undoing of a team? I don't think at any point we've seen a team with 3 errors in a game lead the game. But right now, Dominguez Hills has committed 3 errors, one by the Owl, one by Labanog, and one by Abalera in center field. I beg your pardon, one by Maya Lopez, the catcher. And now we're going to get another conversation with the umpire.
Fielder's going to be switching at short and third.
And again, Dominguez Hills has done this with some regularity this year. It's just a strategic thing. They'll bring Jaime to third base. Labanog will go play shortstop for this situation. We'll find out if Labanog can do it in time. Yes, she's out. Mike Davenport took 2 steps before he said, hey, grab the headsets. So, we'll find out if she's safe or out, but they're going to take a look at it. We'll give you the full speed looks first. Maddie Perry standing down there. We'll see if she's actually beat the throw.
Maddie trying to sell it. Nice stretch at first base as well by Hull.
I'm inclined to say that this is
really,
worth looking at.
Yeah, they have actually really putting the test to the testers.
She's safe. That should get overturned. You see it differently? Foot down. Ball's not in the glove yet.
She's safe, even with the chain link in the view, because the chain link actually helps us in this instance because you can see.
You see the base.
You see the green of the ball. That it isn't in the glove yet, so. Yeah, foot down.
Obviously a close call.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
they like I said, they've been really tested by the testers.
So we've already had a couple of challenged calls early in the game.
Each team will still have one challenge left.
All right, here's the call. Safe. Maddie Perry legs out an infield hit. And the inning continues. And now they are re-flipping Jaime and Labanog. So when Labanog went from third to short, she got the ball hit to her.
Yep, sure did.
Made a good throw. It wasn't for a lack of a strong on-target throw that Perry beat it out. It's certainly not Amara's fault.
Speed out of the box.
Absolutely. Being a left-handed hitter definitely helped there. First pitch is down low. You wonder what that kind of does to you as a pitcher. Lala thinks she got herself out of the inning, and now she's got to go back and
playing top of the order with the speed in the box. Not a big, excuse me, a gapper type. Definitely a gapper type hitter here in Leicester. Not more so of a home run hitter. And you've got speed on the bases now, so ever so important for the outfield, which is playing straight away, to make sure that they get that ball back into the infield quickly.
Outside. Snap throw to first, not in time. A team from California has not won the Division II College World Series since UC San Diego did it back in 2011 in Salem, Virginia.
Viola came awfully close.
They sure did. Jolie Lester, can of corn out to left field. And the second inning comes to a close. But not before the Nighthawks do get on the board. They score the first run of their game. J.C. Michael got some help on her way around the bases. It's 3-1 as we go to the third. Three-1 ball game as we start the third inning. Denver, Colorado, the site of the national championship this year. We've had a busy week. We've got a lot of games in already, and we are inching closer to our national championship tilt. We know that Rogers State University is 3-0 this week. They have made it to the best of three championship series. Game one tomorrow at 12 noon. Are they going to play the Nighthawks or the Toros? North Georgia would need to win just once today. The Toros need a doubleheader sweep. Jordan Warzinski back to work. And she evens up the count at 1-1 on a good pitch there. Mike Davenport and the Nighthawks won the national title back in 2015. Beat Dixie State that year in Oklahoma City.
A rain-clogged weekend in Oklahoma City where we had tornado warnings. We ended up moving from the Hall of Fame Stadium, which was a great opportunity for these D2 players to experience all that is about Hall of Fame Stadium.
Wow, what a pitch. Got her looking for strike three, and who could blame her?
Yep. That was the first time that we've actually seen this off-speed pitch just freeze her right up. Obviously with the runners on the base that the Toros have had, it hasn't allowed itself for that pitch to be used, but with nobody on, you keep going to what's working.
Maya Lopez singled her last time up. She got that whole big thing started in the second inning when the Toros scored 3 times. And on the appeal, she went around. Mentioned earlier that we're going to Chattanooga next year. North Georgia, pretty instrumental in helping get the championship to Chattanooga, Tennessee. And the Nighthawks and I believe Lee University are going to serve as combined hosts next year. We'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, multi-purpose facility in Chattanooga at Frost Stadium.
Good zip on it. Off the plate, 2-2. Cal State Dominguez Hills, 43-22 this season. But they have certainly come into the tournament hot. North Georgia, 49-16. Played great softball the second half of the year. Count runs full on Lopez. And a one-out walk.
You see Blair, it's right away as soon as that walk was made. Blair saw something, in the release and went right out there and said something. Let's see if the adjustments can be made here.
Al reached on a fielder's choice last time. Snap throw to first base. Ooh, a better throw might have gotten her.
Sneaky with forehand coming on the backside there.
Everybody rotating, expecting that bunt. They put 1 ball, no strikes on the scoreboard, but the umpire said no, it's no balls and 1 strike. Al is a foul ball there. That ball actually hit the ground, popped back up, and either hit her or the bat while she was still in the box. Good call. So it's 0-2. Like the idea there from the Toros, though. Trying to move Lopez along. Al pops it up. Gracie Mixon has it. Two outs.
Much easier for Mixon coming in, too, instead of Blair trying to take that ball. Changes the complexion here now with 2 outs and that runner at first base.
Here's Caitlin Sturm in there for a called strike. This game needs to kind of pick up some of the energy. Things feel flat right now. 4 errors. I know there's been 8 base hits combined. It's just kind of a sluggish game, waiting for some real excitement. See if Caitlin Sturm can deliver with something here. Toros aren't afraid of anybody, that's for sure. They proved it right away after beating Texas Tyler in the tournament opener. Wow, just outside. I don't know much more where you want to put that. Awfully good.
Well, you smile about it because you're still up 1-2, right? That's all you can do. Love the rally hat, rally cups, rally cup hat.
Fouled away. It's a pretty large one in a Division I game yesterday. Was that Florida? And Florida was playing somebody.
Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Florida, Virginia Tech. And they had like 9 or 10 cups stacked on top of each other. Looked pretty hilarious. This is socked into the gap in left center field. Extra bases. Lopez going to try to make it happen. The relay to the plate is in a ton of time. How about the Nighthawk defense? Twice in the first 3 innings, they have cut a runner down at the plate. In fact, it's 2 innings in a row. They've ended the inning. by throwing out someone trying to score.
Solid hit ball to the field. And a good job in getting over to it was Michael. Great job on the relay, lining up perfectly. As Brendan had talked about, the tag and the sweep and the hold on at home. 3-1 Toros.
North Georgia trying to use a little bit of that momentum they created by throwing out a runner for the second straight inning. Let's see if they can turn it into some offense. Sinkfield, first pitch swinging. It's bobbled by the shortstop. Jaime couldn't get it into her glove, let alone into her hand. And Sinkfield is aboard on the fourth Dominguez Hills error with nobody out in the bottom of the third. Al, Labanog, Lopez, and now Jaime have all committed errors early in this game. Maddie Simmons through the left side, base hit. First and second, nobody out as the sun shines on MSU Denver. It's as bright outside right now as it's been in, 7 hours or so.
Yeah, catching a little bit of break there on that base hit as Jaime was leaning towards second base with the runner breaking.
Mallory Parker with the tying runs aboard. Nobody out, bottom of three. Parker shoots one down out of play. That's into their own bullpen. I think it's at least worth pointing out here early on. I realize the Nighthawks just had a couple base runners here early on, and Simmons hit that well. But this is as good as Olagi has looked all week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. 100%. She actually had said that in the press conference last night, too, that she hasn't felt completely herself.
Runner breaks. Good throw. Safe! Just barely under the tag. Love the head first slide in that situation.
Went to the outside of the bag, too, and that makes a big difference because the glove has to come back around, and she was really doing a great job in Sinkfield getting to that outside part of the bag. So it was just all left hand.
No stolen bases there. The runners advance on a wild pitch. Great throw from Maya Lopez.
And what helps Lopez, obviously, too, is you have that lefty batter, right? You don't have to worry about throwing around a right-handed batter in the box. Infield in now tight here, even with a 1-2 count, trying to cut down these runs.
Parker fouls off another one. She reached on the first of the 4 errors on the Toros so far.
And with the infield in so much, Brendan, you've got to make sure, if you're Simmons out at second base, that you're seeing everything in front of you.
Parker has several times fouled off pitches that were not in the strike zone. I don't think it's unfair to say that Cal State Dominguez Hills has been winning games in spite of their pitching, because Olagi hasn't pitched well, and they are the best offensive team in this tournament through the first 3 days as a team, hitting almost 400 through those first 3 games. They got 8 base hits already in the first 3 innings today. And it just, proving that, look, there's lots of different ways to win games. And the way they've hit the ball, run the bases well, they've been able to overcome some of the other mistakes. And as we've said several times this week, we have not seen a dominant pitcher on any team that makes you feel like, okay, if we see her, we're in trouble. Parker, chopper to short. It is off Jaime's glove into center field. Too aggressive. Oh, Jaime dropped the ball. Parker would have been out at second base. You could already see Mario Calabrese starting to raise his right arm to call her out. And instead, Jaime, not once but twice, can't hang on to it there. The game is tied, and the Toro defense is coming untethered.
High chopper. And no question about it, as you said, the out would have been there. But you know what? Going back to that tag, even if the tag was made, it would have been another interesting possible go-to-review call because of where that tag was, even though the arm was starting to go up.
Coach Mayer imploring his team to lock in defensively here. There's only one error on the play. Even though the ball was dropped there on that tag, You can't give a second error unless that runner advances another base. So while it was a frustrating play, it's just one error, not 2. But the Nighthawks, after giving up 3 runs in the top of the 3rd inning, have tied this thing back up at 3. And a forehand in the air to right field. Parker tagging. Davis makes the catch. Good throw to third. A little bit late. Great backup by Olagi. Well done.
Excellent backup by Olagi. And that was a tough ball to gather in out in right field by Davis because the ball is curling. She's falling away. There isn't even enough time for her to get her feet around to get some zip on that ball. And she did a really good job getting it back in quickly.
Both of those runs are unearned as the Nighthawks take the lead. J.C. Michael torches one into the right-hand corner. She's got herself a triple. What is Michael doing? Running to the plate. Safe! How do you make that up?
So sharply hit. Davis had a long way to run in the corner. There was no question it was going to turn into a triple. But when the ball came back into the infield, there was a little bit of lag time as it got back into the circle. And the hesitation by Michael almost killed her on that play. Somehow was able to get her hand. That's all her. That's not Coach Davenport at that point. That's all Charlie Hustle.
I think you ruled that a home run. I mean, the ball was never dead. There's no error on the play. She
had initially stopped. I think it's a triple, but we'll see what the official scorers give it.
I mean, this has been an absolute unmitigated nightmare.
They gave her a triple in the official book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I can certainly see your side of the coin there. My goodness. I mean, if you're a Toro fan watching this game right now, you've probably thrown your remote through your television. Mixon almost got hit by the pitch. It's inside. 2 balls and no strikes. RBI triple for J.C. Michael. There's a strike. 5-3.
And still only 1 out. That's the shocker right now. This Toro infield and outfield needs to get together.
On the ground toward Au. Plants and makes a good throw, but Hull can't hang on. Toros are playing hot potato right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough play for Au. I mean, she's going all the way to her right.
Absolutely.
And fielded cleanly, but you can't really get much on that throw.
No, and it's like sliding on the pellets, trying to get some grip there as Coach Mayer comes out. He's definitely trying to get this team together here, and I don't blame him. I would too.
That is
Everybody together have that conversation. Okay, guys.
That is a single to second base, and they are making a pitching change here.
Right field line.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, as bad as this has gone for Dominguez Hills, I mean, they're not out of the game. You're only down 2 runs. It's only the 3rd inning. Figure out a way to get out of the inning here and keep this thing tight enough because their offense has been so good. I mean, this inning has been almost unthinkable. It started when Singfield reached on an error by the shortstop. Madison Simmons singled to left field, so it was first and second, nobody out. Mallory Parker at the plate. A wild pitch allowed both runners to advance to second and third. Parker hit a ground ball to short that Jaime couldn't handle. It ricocheted off her glove into center field. Both runs came home. Parker aggressively went to second base and probably should have been tagged out, but Jaime dropped the ball on the tag. With Hannah Forehand at the plate, she flew out to right field. Parker tagged and went from second to third. That's 1 out. Then J.C. Michael steps in, and Michael rips a triple into the corner, scoring Parker. And when she slides in at third base, she dances off the base. Olagi drew her attention to throw to third, I guess, and Michael darted for home and then slid in ahead of the tag and scored. And then Gracie Mixon hits a ball that is a tough play for Au to make at second base. 1 on, 1 out, already 4 runs in. Two errors, 2 hits in the inning. Beg your pardon, 2 errors, 3 hits in the inning. So Ashley Weiss now pitching. That's a called strike to Georgia Blair. Well, we've seen plenty of Weiss. And again, I feel bad for Olagi because I made the comment just a bit ago that she looked as good right now as she's looked at any point this week. And I really don't think the undoing of the defense this inning was her fault. But sometimes you just got to change something up.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. You know, and some of those balls were really hard hit balls too. Not to take anything away from that piece of it, but yeah, you know, you're getting the balls down, and I think that was North Georgia has mixed it up with their hitting, but anytime you put the ball in play, it'll be fouled in the box. Anytime you put the ball in play on the ground, you're putting pressure on the defense to make it happen. Now, with 5 errors, it's totally in the Toros' head, which, again, I understand Coach Mayer coming out and try to get this team together.
Blair needs a second after that foul ball. That was tough. So Georgia climbs back in. Mixon the runner at first. 1-2 pitch is hit a long way, but foul. The Toros have been thrown out at the plate to end the second and third innings offensively, despite the fact they've scored 3 runs on 8 base hits already. They trail this game 5-3 because they've committed 5 errors. Smoked into left field, a one-hopper into Valencia's glove, another base hit. Georgia Blair makes it first and second with 1 out for Maddie Perry. 8th batter of this 3rd inning. Perry singled to shortstop last time up on a play that was reviewed and overturned. Perry, tough play. Safe at first. Maddie Perry beats out another one on a bunt single.
Awfully tough when you're coming from a deep spot in the hole to get over and cover the bag. And now just couldn't find the base when she got there. And even with the speed down the line, I think Perry would have beaten it out anyway.
Jolie Lester with the bases loaded. Weiss misses outside. Only one out. Hard ground ball toward Au, and she gets a sure out at first base. Toros give up another run, but it's a big out because it gives them a chance to at least take a deep breath. Here's the sure play. Mixon scores. Blair runs to third. Perry's now at second base. RBI for Jolie Lester and Olivia Sinkfield, the new batter. (6-3). Sinkfield reached on an error to start this inning. A little cue shot foul. 5 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors so far here just in the 3rd. Crazy. What a weird game.
100%. Kind of going with the weather.
Yeah. This is inside. It's as nice right now as it's been all day. It was certainly comfortable this morning. It was kind of warm, but now a little cooler, but blue skies overhead. All good. 1-2 to Sinkfield. In the air, down the right field line. Davis chasing, and she can't hang on. She caught it, hit the wall, and unfortunately dropped it. She is telling her coaching staff that that was on the transfer. But they choose not to take another look at the play. Each team has one challenge left. Instead, we play on, and it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Unfortunately, we didn't have a good look at it to share with you. I don't know if that was on the transfer or not. I mean, it was, I could see why she would think that. It was close, but didn't control it.
Yeah.
2-2, and it hit her. Sinkfield given first base. And now they're loaded for Simmons. Maddie Simmons singled and scored earlier in this inning. She's also walked. Way outside. We do have one look. Let's see if this gives us any idea on that play in the corner.
And Mario Calabrese is the umpire with the best look. She's carrying herself into the walls. There was never control on the play on Davis's part to even that be considered.
Simmons fouls it back into the net. I know that it's only the bottom of the 5th, but there's, the bottom of the 3rd, 5 runs here in the 3rd. But man, there feels like something so largely at stake at this at bat. Being down 3 is manageable. got to get out of this inning if you're the Toros. If you're Maddie Simmons and you can come up with a base hit, maybe score 6 or 7 runs in this inning, what a turnaround that would be for the Nighthawks. 1-2 the count. This is the 3-hole hitter for North Georgia. She's had a great tournament so far. Simmons pops it up, and it's not going to be playable. Off the very top of the net. If nothing else, the Toros have been out there defensively for what feels like an eternity.
Feels like a good half hour. And it feels even longer for them with the way that it has gone with the fielding.
Again, the 1-2. Good eye by Simmons. Blair singled. She's at third. Perry singled on a bunt. She's at second. Sinkfield hit by a pitch at first. And now the count runs full, and the runners will be off. One hopper to the first baseman. Kaylee Hull makes the play. Simmons retired, and mercifully, the bottom of the third inning comes to a close. 5 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors, 3 runs left on base. And North Georgia takes a 3-1 deficit and turns it into a 6-3 lead. Okay, we're in the top of the 4th inning. Let's see what the Toros are made of. First pitch misses the zone. You could see Warzinski a little frustrated there. She didn't like that. 1 ball, no strikes. The leadoff batter here this inning is the right fielder, Alex Davis. 3 runs, 8 hits, 5 errors, and 4 runners left for the Toros through 3 innings. North Georgia, 6 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. They've stranded 6. Alyssa Olagi, 2 1/3 innings, 6 unearned runs, 4 hits and 1 walk with no strikeouts. Delaney Heberlin, the starter for North Georgia, 1 2/3 of an inning. She gave up 3 runs, 2 earned, 5 hits, no walks, and 1 strikeout. Both starting pitchers are out of the game. Warzinski now in there for North Georgia. Weiss is pitching for the Toros.
Blair going out there to
line drive right to Perry, 1 out.
speak with Warzinski, and I like that because Blair is the veteran in this case, right? Jordan hasn't pitched a heck of a lot this season as a freshman. She's in a what could be collegiate career moment for her right now, no question about it. And Georgia Blair taking control as her battery mate, just making sure she's on the same page.
Here's Kaylee Hull, who singled and scored last time. You know, everybody gets to this stage of the game because they've got a lot of ability, they're red hot, and they've, earned their way here. But I think every team here would tell you that they have found ways to win games this season when they're not playing their best. That's the sign of a really good team, right?
Right. And you're still only down by 3 runs. We're only in the 4th inning, so there's plenty of time.
There's a lot of psychology that goes into this kind of frustrating moment right now if you're a player. If you're the Toros, this is still manageable, especially because you got out of that inning leaving the bases loaded defensively. 2-1, grounded through the left side. All starts there with a base hit. Kaylee Hull is aboard with a one-out single. 9th hit of the game for Cal State Dominguez Hills. And as a team now, it's their 44th hit of the tournament through 3.5 games. All the more reason why they shouldn't give up on themselves, because they have hit and hit and hit again.
Yep.
Also had a lot of foul balls, so our home plate umpire Chelsea Clark has regularly had to go ask for some more. Back to the top of the order, Labanog takes inside. One for two with an infield single. Labanog chops it off the plate. Davis lined out. Hull single to left. And all of a sudden this team said, all right, forget about last inning.
I believe
Time
that's
for us to
a
hit.
sword now. We have hats, and that is a Toro with a sword.
Okay.
Hey, anything that works, right?
Whatever works, exactly. It did not hit her out of the box, and so that's a bunt single.
Boy.
It also didn't hit, although it almost did, the bat.
It almost hit the bat. She was almost out of the box, so there was a lot going on in front of the plate, for sure. The way that bounced up especially.
So Kiana Abalera will bat. And we're going to have a pinch runner out at second base now. It is Sydney Diaz that runs for Kaylee Hull.
And then all of a sudden, look what you got. Tie-in run at home plate.
Just like that. Abalera takes a breaking ball, strike one.
You know, she has such off speed on that ball that there really looks like there's no rotation on the ball, almost like it's a knuckle change.
Hard hit ball through the left side. Abalera singles, and they'll load him up. There have been 20 Toros that have come to the plate, and 11 times they've had a base hit. They haven't had any trouble generating some offense today. As Mike Davenport calls time, you get another look at the base knock.
Good, nice outstretched effort there, right between the 5-6 hole.
We're going to have a pitching change here. Base is loaded with one out. And for the first time here in the 2022 National Championship Tournament, North Georgia is turning to its ace, Kristen Davis. This young lady has been battling injuries a little bit, so she hasn't been able to be out there as consistently as she'd like, but she's had a fantastic season. And North Georgia is hoping that she can be at her best right now.
Yeah, their true power pitcher, no doubt about it. 17-4 on the year, making her first appearance here at the National Championships for the sophomore righty. And you can hear that pop in the glove as soon as she releases it. Has a curve and drop, knows how to change speeds and really work that ball up and down in the zone, coming in a critical spot here in this game.
So Warzinski goes an inning and 2/3, gives up 6 hits with a walk and a strikeout. So far, none of the runs in this game have come against her, but she is responsible for all 3 base runners. They're also going to get a pinch runner at first base. Cal State Dominguez Hills with Rosie Maldonado running for Abalera. All right. This is the batter the Toros won at the plate, isn't it? Raquel Jaime. 2 for 2. She is red hot. Leads the tournament in hitting. Nowhere to put her. Ball 1. Fouls it off. If you're the Nighthawks, I mean, you just got a first-class seat to what can happen when you lose your cool defensively the way Dominguez Hills did last inning. They've got to find a way to make sure they don't do the same thing here. Jaime into the gap. It's a base hit. She delivers again. Simmons having trouble picking it up. They've chosen to hold the runner at third. It's a 2-run double. Maldonado got the stop sign. 6-5.
Jaime shooting one right into the gap. And that ball wasn't really left out on the right part of the plate. That was all muscle staying back on that ball and finding the gap in right center.
12 hits. Down and inside. So Diaz and Labanog both score. Jaime is now 3 for 3 with 2 doubles, a single, and 2 ribbies. Ground ball through the middle for Valencia. Base hit. That ties the game. And I love the idea there from Coach Mayer down at third base. Hold the runner, keep the pressure on, and don't give North Georgia's outfielders another chance to throw a runner out at the plate when you're swinging it the way they are.
Yeah, and the thing is that this outfield is very good arms, and respecting that and the fact that you are right there. You want to run yourself out of an inning when things are going good.
So Claudia Valencia 1 for 3 now with an RBI single. We are tied at 6. That gets Alyssa Olagi off the hook. Jaime at third, Valencia at first. Lopez fouls it away. Those runs are all charged to Warzinski. Big swing and miss. Talk about being out in front of a changeup. Lopez has singled and walked, and she was thrown out trying to score from first base. Thrown out on a great relay from Michael to Perry to Blair. Way upstairs. I'm not even sure why Blair bothered throwing to forehand. Only bad things could have happened by that point. Stolen base for Valencia on a de facto wild pitch, although it's not scored that way. Go ahead runs in scoring position. Tie game in the 4th. Excellent fastball. Strike 3.
Kept low in the zone. And Lopez not able to catch up with it here. Big out for the Nighthawks. But with the lefty in the box and runners in scoring position.
Little roller up the first baseline. Wow. They tag her for the final out. If Al would have thought about it, she should have started running backwards to allow the run to score.
The minute she moves backwards, she has to stop. The minute she moves backwards, she would have been out.
Okay, fair enough. So we are tied at 6. And a little chopper to the first baseman. Olivia Sinkfield put the tag on, and that was that. So we are tied at 6 as we go to the middle of the 4th. North Georgia, Cal State Dominguez Hills. This game hasn't been pretty, but you got to find a way sometimes to win ugly. And the fact of the matter is, they've got everything on the line. It's a berth in the national championship best-of-3 series. Toros need to win this and another one to make it happen. North Georgia leading things off, slashing one down the line. What a great catch. Claudia Valencia, fabulous work.
Claudia Valencia had to come a very, very long way to make this web gem grab. Literally in the webbing of the glove. Nice job to hold on as she was running out of real estate out there in left field.
Here's Hannah Forehand, a couple flyouts, hit a home run yesterday. Beg your pardon, 2 days ago for North Georgia. They were off yesterday. 6-6. We've had 3 really big offensive innings. Maybe I should rephrase that. We've had 2 big offensive innings and 1 terrible defensive inning that led to a bunch of runs. Two-0 is cranked. Also foul. Davis and Weiss now pitching in this game. We're in the bottom of the 4th. This game is also taking forever. We are an hour and 35 minutes in. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Moving along at a slow clip. But it's not for a lack of exciting balls put in play. I just made the comment to you in the break there, Leah. And the Toros have not yet gone 3 times through the order. And they've already got 13 base hits. I know the defensive mistakes is largely what we focused on, but 13 hits?
That has to be a complete concern of Mike Davenport's right now. Granted, he has a deep pitching staff, but he hasn't found that consistent person on his staff to stifle these Toros bats, and this could be a completely different game had not there been the errors.
Forehand flies out to right field for the 3rd time, and there are 2 outs. Here comes J.C. Michael, who hit called a Little League home run. It was a triple into the right field corner, and then she was dancing off third base, and she enticed Olagi enough to try to throw to third and get her in a rundown. Michael broke for home plate and scored ahead of the throw home. She also reached on an error, stole second, went to third on an error, and scored on a wild pitch. That's one way to make your way around the bases. 1-1. I can't help but feel like, for as ugly as that 3rd inning was, it kind of feels like advantage Toros right now. After that awful inning defensively, they answered with 3 runs, tied the game. And the way they're hitting right now,
you got to feel pretty good if you're a Toro right now. You've had your blunders, you've been knocked around pretty good, and you've tied back up the game. You should be definitely carrying your demeanor in a positive fashion, no doubt about it.
1-2 the count to J.C. Michael. I think we just saw a unicorn. That's a 1-2-3 inning. 6-6. We're going to the 5th on NCAA.com.
this inning, as we are here in the 5th, is more so important for the defense of the Nighthawks than it is for the Toros to push across another run. I'm not completely convinced that Kristen Davis is on her groove, and I think it's important for her right now to be able to at least get that first out and get through this first batter with some confidence. And she is struggling once again right now.
3 straight balls to start the inning. Cal State Dominguez Hills has sent 8 to the plate twice in the first 4 innings, scoring 3 runs in each of those frames. And they scored on 11 base hits among those 16 batters, beating up on Heberlin and Warzinski. And even a little bit on this young lady. Hitting shoes continue, as you like to say. The Toros leading off with a double. Sturm, her second double. She's 3 for 3 now.
Putting it in a really good spot in the zone. The pitchers are coming in really flat right now for Davis. And this solid hitting team of the Toros is just destroying it with their 14th hit.
What do you envision this conversation must be like right now?
It's more so Mike Davenport's not a big yell and scream in your face type of guy anyways, but it's just more so trying to calm his team down, his defense down, and give Denton down in the bullpen just a little bit more time to warm up down there.
Alex Davis, 0 for 2. She is the only player for the Toros that hasn't been on base yet. Go-ahead run at second base with nobody out in the top of the 5th. Good pitch there from Kristen.
Whole different genre when you're up in the count, right? You can start throwing some different things, mix in some off-speed stuff. That's the key runner right now out at second.
Cal State Dominguez Hills with 4 doubles in this game, 2 from Jaime and 2 from Sturm. This ball is hit deep and fouled on the left field line. And they've got 10 singles. Jaime's got 3 hits. Sturm has 3 hits. Labanog, Abalera, and Hull all have 2. 1 apiece for Valencia, Lopez. That gets us to our 14. One and 2. I also love that Coach Mayer has no interest in trying to bunt a runner over or anything right now. You're hitting the cover off the ball.
Absolutely.
Just trust that you're going to continue it. There's no reason not to think you can't.
Right, yeah, not give up that out. And you've got no outs.
Fouled in the box. It was good signal there from Sturm at second with her right hand extended. That last second, right as Davis was about to start her windup, that pitch was going to probably come inside. It was less about signaling what kind of pitch and more location. Sturm tries to creep in on the signs. Just missed the outside corner.
Blair had to move it over quite a bit. But she tried. 2-2. Good eye there. No question by Davis.
In and out of the glove. Alex Davis stays alive. I bet if you're a Rogers State fan watching this, play all day.
That's right. Keep playing, guys.
Just keep on going.
Keep fighting it out.
And eventually we'll see you tomorrow. Still a 2-2 count. Get a look there at head coach Andrea Vaughn and her coaching staff, taking a peek at what's going on here between Cal State Dominguez Hills and North Georgia. Missed the outside corner. Again, it was close. Rogers State having beaten Southern Indiana and Dominguez Hills already in the tournament. Good job looking the runner back. One out. Rogers State beat Dominguez Hills in the winners bracket game on Friday morning. And then beat Texas Tyler earlier this morning. New batter here is Kaylee Hull, who re-entered after Diaz had pinch ran for her. One ball, no strikes. Another one up in the zone. Hull has a couple of singles and a couple of runs scored. Davis misses high. Amara Labanog waiting patiently on deck. We're in the top of the fifth inning, and this batter is completing the third trip through the order. Davis, not even close, walked on 4 pitches. Now the Toros bring up their leadoff hitter. The reality is walking Hull there was not a huge deal. It puts a force play back intact. Labanog has grounded out, singled twice and scored. Fouls one off. Reached safely on a bunt single last time up. Way back a year ago in the second inning, she was the runner that was thrown out at home plate when the Toros asked for a replay review. It was super close, but the out call was upheld. Grounded toward first. The runner is tagged out. Good job there by Sinkfield. And there are 2 outs as the runners move up. And here's Abalera. Abalera, 2 for 3. Good block there by Blair. It brings up the point I kind of misspoke last half inning about running into an inning-ending out when Au was tagged out in the 4th. You made the point to me that instead of, because you can't run backwards, she just shouldn't have run forwards, and it would have allowed that run to score. It's probably hard to mentally train yourself to do that
Absolutely.
instantaneously.
For sure.
It's just, you either have that instinct or you don't.
In that case, it's happening so quick, but when you have it personally happen to you once, when it happens to you the second time, you think about that a little bit more. Would have been a whole different scenario at home plate.
Off the end of the bat, softly hit, and Maddie Perry tracks it down. Well, you wanted to see if North Georgia's defense could hold up, and they did. Leave a couple runners in scoring position. It is still 6-6 going to the bottom of the 5th. Home half of the 5th inning for the Nighthawks. 6-6 ball game. There have been an awful lot of emotions in this game. I mean, it has been quite a roller coaster for both teams. High highs and low lows. And at the moment, we are still deadlocked. Gracie Mixon, the batter. Then Ashley Weiss misses outside. The current pitchers of record in the game are the ones that are pitching. Kristen Davis for the Nighthawks, Ashley Weiss for the Toros. Alagi gave up 6 unearned runs, only 4 hits and 1 walk over 2 1/3 innings. That was solidly struck back through the middle for a base hit. Mixon opens the 5th with a single. That's the 7th base hit for the Nighthawks.
She's been steady, hasn't she?
Absolutely.
Just doing it, just, base knock, base knock, base knock.
Mariah Wicker coming on as a pinch runner.
Offensive change for North Georgia. Now running at first base, number 11.
On the other side, Delaney Heberlin. So far, I mean, she could re-enter, but so far, an inning and 2/3. She's given up 3 runs, 2 earned, 5 hits, no walks and 1 strikeout. Jordan Warzinski gave up 3 earned runs on 6 hits over an inning and 2/3. All 3 of those runs, by the way, came after she was taken out of the game with the bases loaded in the 4th. Raquel Jaime, a 2-run double, and Claudia Valencia, an RBI single off of Kristen Davis. But those runs charged to Warzinski. High fly ball carrying pretty well to left, but Valencia has room and makes the catch on the track. Wicker has to make a decision. Dancing back and forth and finally saying, I'll stay put.
And that's one of those tweener balls to the outfield. I thought Valencia did a really good job getting her feet around, but she wasn't completely around. And because of that, it made it very difficult for Al to kind of make that tag, and that's the reason why the ball kind of scooted away from her.
That's why you do all those agility drills.
That's a lot of burnt calories right there.
There's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's funny.
That's the dance move.
Maddie Perry, 2 for 2. And she bunts 1 foul. She had an infield single in the 2nd inning.
Wicker's got to keep a better eye on that, too, because I understand she was anticipating the bunt going down, but that would not have been good.
No. Perry was called out, and then the call in the 2nd inning was reviewed and overturned. She was safe, beat the throw.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the 3rd inning, she had a bunt single. Thought about it again. Pulled back. They're going to appeal. And apparently Perry didn't go around. Toro defense thought she did. Tell you what, the Toro fans are not really sitting behind home plate, or at least not many of them. They are bundled up in all their heavy clothes because the temperature is an ice cold 61 degrees for those folks out west. Might as well be in an igloo. In Cleveland, we call this a nice spring day.
Yeah.
One on, one out. Wicker can really run. Runner breaks. High throw, not even close. Wicker got up. She's going to have to make a good play. Oh, my goodness. Thrown out at 3rd base. No reason for her to have gone to 3rd with the center fielder, Abalera, that shallow. It was a great throw, but Wicker makes a really aggressive mistake. Good throw from Abalera.
Abalera all over it, too. And she knew as soon as she had that ball, she had the time. Guns it right down.
Never mind, I'll count to 4.
So the bases are empty. You can see how frustrated Coach Davenport was when he opened palm of his hand, slapped the turf in frustration. His time is called. Should be 3 balls and a strike. Scoreboard says 2-1. Fortunately, that wouldn't be the first time this week the scoreboard was not right.
3 on
3 balls and a strike is the count. Perry with a good bunt. Labanog makes a great play, and she's ruled out at first base. Coach Davenport did not initially seem to want to challenge it. Now I think he's actually coming over probably more about reinserting Mixon. So no challenge there. Perry is out, and we are through 5. 6-6 in a really meaningful game in this tournament. Maybe the energy around it will start matching it soon here on NCAA.com. All right, so the umpires all congregated during the inning break there. They had also gone over and spoken to the Cal State Dominguez Hills dugout, but perhaps they were just confirming something. I'm not sure. Nothing has come of it, just that conversation. So we move to the 6th inning in a game that right now, even though it's tied at 6, it was almost playable. Even though the game's tied at 6, honestly, feels like it's favoring the Toros at the moment because they have 14 base hits, and they have been so good offensively. This team has 49 hits in fewer than 4 full games at the national tournament. These are the best teams in the country. Well, this offense and that headgear are pretty impressive. That one is turned and burned foul. The leadoff hitter here is Raquel Jaime, who leads the tournament individually with 9 base hits. She's got 2 doubles and a single today, and she's also driven in 2 runs. Dominguez Hills would love to get something going here in the 6th. Jaime stays back on it, shoots it into right field. Somewhere along the way, teams might just start walking her because there's a better chance of her only having 1 base instead of an extra base hit.
100%. She's having a day. What a great day here. It was her 2-run double that made it a 6-5 game, and she is just spraying that ball everywhere right now, all over Nighthawks pitching.
Valencia's single last time up tied the game at 6. She takes ball 1. Valencia struck out in each of her first 2 at-bats. She's faced a different pitcher every time. She struck out against Heberlin, then struck out looking against Warzinski. And then her last time up, she faced Davis and came up with that hit. One and one the count. Jaime's not the fastest player on the team, but she can certainly handle her own on the bases. Valencia is the real stolen base threat. 28 out of 34 on the season coming in, and actually had 1 today, so make that 29 out of 35. Shanoa Au can run pretty well too. I don't really know where that one missed. Maybe just a little low.
Maybe.
Good looking pitch. 3-1. Hard grounder to second, could be two. Well done in the middle infield, and they turn it. That is a fabulous double play. Great work from Perry and forehand in particular.
That ball was short hopped to Perry, who had to get rid of it quick as it was coming into her belly. And doing a nice job sticking with it. Solid flip. And forehand getting something on it to get it over to first base for two. That's a huge turn of events, and the Tide slips back the opposite way just a little bit here.
Seesaw battle back and forth. The last couple half innings, it's happened without any runs. But you're right. For the moment, feels like momentum Nighthawks because the two best Toros hitters who started this inning off offensively have been erased. Now Maya Lopez, a single, a walk, and a strikeout today. Lopez takes inside. Three balls and a strike. Toros have never played in the best-of-3 national championship series. North Georgia trying to get back there for the first time since they won it all in 2015. Kristen Davis gets a ground ball left side. Good shorthand pick. Gracie Mixon flashing the leather. And the Toros go in order. It's the first time all day they've done that. We are headed to the bottom of the sixth in a game tied at 6. Well, that looks ominous. Off in the distance, thankfully not hanging out where we are, but there's some rain in the area. We'll see if we can avoid it. Fingers crossed. Meanwhile, look who's back in the middle of the diamond.
Feels like another game.
It kind of does. This Olagi through the first 2 1/3. We haven't seen her since then. And she's hoping for some better fortune. She gave up 6 unearned runs. First pitch is in there, a called strike. So that means Ashley Weiss is done for the day. Ashley Weiss's final numbers, 2 2/3, no runs, no walks, a strikeout, and only 3 base hits against her. I wonder if Weiss just tired out because she's been used so much. Olagi, again, we mentioned it earlier, this is as good as she's looked all tournament. First
That's
pitch,
trouble.
or I should say first batter.
What a great effort.
Sure was.
Yeah. Valencia covers a lot of ground out there, Brendan. She goes back on the ball very well. Great hustle there on a tweener between short and left. She's got to come a long way to make this play. Nice job, good hustle. 1 down.
Jolie Lester retired for the 4th time. Now Olivia Sinkfield. That couldn't have missed by much. Sinkfield at the plate. Simmons on deck. Parker in the hole for the Nighthawks. Brendan Gulick and Leah Secondo with you from MSU Denver. If you're just joining us, it is about 8:15 Eastern Time, 6:15 local time. This game is 2 hours and 6 minutes old. We've had an awful lot to talk about. 12 runs, 22 hits, and 6 errors. A couple of challenges, a couple of goofy plays, a couple of great plays. And the North Georgia Nighthawks are still in position where they could make something happen here. They score a run in the bottom of the 6th, get 3 outs in the top of the 7th. And they could win without having a second game necessary today. Hard grounder towards second, Shanoa Au. Good routine play. Out number 2. Meanwhile, if you're the Toros, as rocky as this road has been, if they can play good enough defense, as they have the last couple of innings now, they could still force that second game. This is so very much up for the taking. Somebody's just got to take it. For a while today, it hasn't looked like anybody wanted to take the game. I mean, those are great pitches, but they must just be outside.
Well, I'll tell you what. At least there's consistency on Chelsea Clark's part on the fact that both pitchers, anywhere low in the zone, it's a ball.
Maddie Simmons rips one foul. She's walked, she's singled and scored and grounded out. She was the last of the 11 batters. Let me rephrase it. Yeah, 11 batters, right? 11 batters in the third. A 5-run inning. Gassed it right by her. Good pitch there from Lala. One and two. Simmons in the air down the right field line. Davis over and makes the catch, and then she dropped it. They haven't made a ruling, foul ball. Now they call it an out. That's the second time that's happened with Davis. The last time, they said she didn't catch it. Let's take a look as we go to break here. What do you think?
That one, I think, is on the transfer. And she had it.
Oh, my
Awfully close.
goodness.
And it is what it is as we go to the 7th.
Ow, leading things off for the Toros in the top of the 7th inning. She darn near got hit by that pitch. 6 runs, 15 hits, 5 errors, and 8 runners left on base for the Toros. 6 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, and 6 left for the Nighthawks. North Georgia, the designated home team here in this game. If they have to play another one after this, they'll flip again to figure out who would be the home team the second time they play. Kristen Davis, in her first appearance of this national championship tournament, has come in and, frankly, done pretty well. She gave up a double and single to her first 2 batters and allowed 3 inherited runners to score. But other than that, Davis has been pretty good. She gave up a double to open up the 5th. That one's a called strike, 3-1. And she gave up a single to Raquel Jaime in the 6th inning. She's also walked 1 batter. She certainly hasn't been proficient in throwing strikes, but she's getting outs, and that's something to be said because her 2 predecessors gave up 11 hits in fewer than 4 full innings. Davis has been the Nighthawks' ace this year, and they need her to pitch like it now. The payoff to Au is ball 4. Shanoa can really run. 17 of 24 on the season, stealing bases. She's already scored 1 run today. Caitlin Sturm is swinging it as well as anybody. A single and 2 doubles. She's hit it to all 3 parts of the field today. Called strike. Game 1 of the best of 3 championship series tomorrow is at noon local time. It's a good off-speed pitch, but below the zone. Game 2 and, if necessary, Game 3 would start at noon local time on Tuesday. Two balls and a strike. I would imagine they won't give these two teams a ton of time between games, probably just 30 minutes, unless they agree upon something other than that. And that's if a second game is necessary. Of course, if the Nighthawks win, no second game necessary. The Toros love knowing that they've got a chance to make something happen with their bats. They've had at least one hit in every inning. They had 6 hits in the second, had 5 hits in the fourth. 50 hits in this tournament in fewer than 4 full games. That is really impressive. Full count. Softly hit to second base, 1 out. You made the comment earlier that some of those hard balls put in play by the Toros were on pitches that didn't have a lot of movement to them. They were kind of flat. Are you seeing something different now?
No, I'm starting to see a little bit of anxiousness at the plate on the Toros' part.
Alex Davis 0 for 3, takes a called strike.
And when Davis is missing, we know that low balls are probably not going to be called strikes. She's missing it, making it pretty simple for the batters not to take the pitch.
Alex Davis down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. On the ground, right side, and foul. That was a great diving effort from Sinkfield, but it wouldn't have mattered. The ball was wide of the bag anyways, and Al will make her way back across the diamond. One and two. Tense moments here for the Nighthawks. Go ahead, runs on first with 1 out. Little nubber toward third. Mixon gets the out at first base. 2 outs. And Shinoa Au moves into scoring position for Kaylee Hull.
Good charge on a very slow-moving ball by Mixon. Speed going down the baseline. Keep an eye on Perry over there, having to make sure she covered third.
Kaylee Hull's had a good day. She singled twice and walked once, scoring back in the second and fourth innings. Dominguez Hills scored 3 in the second, 3 in the fourth. With Georgia 1 in the second, 5 in the third. Good block there from Georgia Blair. And Tybee Denton staying ready. This ball is hit well out to left field, and it is over J.C. Michael's head. Cal State Dominguez Hills with an RBI double in the top of the 7th has taken a 7-6 lead. Kaylee Hull delivers on her 3rd hit of the game.
You said it just before the pitch that Hull, when you announced her, has been pretty hot. The other piece of this, Michael takes, for whatever reason, 2 steps in. And by the time she adjusted, it was over her head.
Back to the circle, dead ball. The first base, actually now second base umpire, immediately signaled foul ball. Mario Calabrese said it hit her in the box. Well, Mike Davenport wants to talk to the home plate umpire, and Coach Mayers, father and son, both talking with their team in front of the dugout. Unfortunately, I don't think we have a look at that for you. All right, so 7-6 Dominguez Hills. 1 ball, 1 strike. That has not been there all day, as frustrating as that might be. Amara Labanog. On the corner. 1-2. Hit the bat a second time, but
That is correct. They're saying she was in the box.
Still in the box, apparently.
No.
And Mike Davenport immediately says, "Hey, can I review that?" So it hit the bat a second time. That was the reason for the dead ball. And so the umpires are going to get together. I think that's the right decision, Leah. I think that, watch the front foot here. Right? She's still in the box there. And it hit her before she had stepped out of the box. Or is it after her body carries out of the box?
It's hard to tell because of the screen exactly if that other foot's down when it makes. Wow, that's really close. Is her foot out of the box down when it hits the bat? That's a hard one to see from this angle.
She's in the box
she's
here,
in,
and it already hit her there.
In.
I think she's okay.
Well, the other piece of it is the subject to the review part.
All right, they are going to take a look at it. This is the second and final review that Mike Davenport can ask for today. Also a reminder, the umpires, if they want to review anything without a team asking for it, they can choose to do so in the 6th inning or later of any game. Obviously, this is critical, right? I mean, if they decide that she's out of the box, then that's the final out of the inning. Otherwise, Labanog gets to keep this at bat alive. So the folks at DV Sport back in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, conferring with our umpires, taking a look. Cal State Dominguez Hills has already taken the 7-6 lead on Kaylee Hull's RBI double. If they can hang on to win this game, they'll force the if necessary game, as North Georgia would lose its first game of the tournament. First, we're going to show you our full speed looks as we send these back to Pittsburgh. And then we'll try to slow it down for you. Well, they're taking the headsets off already, so they must have their decision. Foul ball is upheld. So the at-bat continues. Amara Labanog down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Off the fist of the bat, it's past the diving forehand, squirts into right field. Simmons' throw home is too late. 8-6.
The solid bats of the Toros just keep going on and on as the insurance run comes across now at home plate.
They're calling it an RBI single. It was not an error on forehand, but that she made an extra effort to be able to get to it. We've got a pinch runner too. This is Angelina Alderete pinch running. Well, that's big for the Toros, not just scoring once, but twice. Good job by Maddie Perry to charge that on the short hop. Great play. And she makes the throw across in time to retire Abalera. 2 runs for Dominguez Hills. If they can get 3 outs before giving up 2, then we're going to have an if necessary game coming up shortly. We'll see if North Georgia's got magic in their bats when we come back on NCAA.com. Second inning in a row, and she is trying to send the Toros to an if necessary game that would force a winner to the National Championship Series. 2 balls, no strikes to Gracie Mixon here. Inside corner strike called. One on, 2 out, tying run at the plate. And the Nighthawks are down to their final strike.
Lala doing a much better job, Brendan, keeping this ball away, even if it's low, keeping it away from the Nighthawk batters.
Alagi way upstairs out of the zone. Even in their loss, Dominguez Hills' offense was outstanding. 12 base hits against the other team they're hoping to face in the best of 3, Rogers State. They have overcome poor defense and occasionally frustrating pitching. Mixon swings and misses at strike 3. Dominguez Hills with an unbelievable comeback. They were down 6-3 after committing 5 errors in the first 3 innings of the game. They come back and win 8-6. And we will have another game this afternoon. What an outstanding performance by the Toros when their backs were against the wall. Final line score, 8 runs, 17 hits, 5 errors for the Toros, 6 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error for North Georgia. Alagi, the winning pitcher, she goes to 23-13. Losing pitcher is Kristen Davis. She falls to 17-5. We'll let you know as soon as we find out when this next game will start, but it could be as soon as 30 minutes from now. Keep it locked here. The winner of this upcoming game will play for a national championship starting tomorrow.